We're a exploration story in the Northwest Territories of Canada. We've been around for a while, just recently accelerated our activities. Basically started back in 2010. I'm assuming it's the green button. There we go. Of course, there'll be forward-looking statements. A compelling investment opportunity. I'll walk you through that. I mean, we are district scale. That was done by choice. We're in a good, strong jurisdiction. So if you're here for the TerraX talk, Dave gave you a really good rundown of the NWT, so I'm not going to belabor the point, other than it's been good for us for the past 10 years. We control 90% of our Archean gold camp, and that's key to what we tried to build here as well. It's centered around a multi-million ounce deposit. We have currently a resource of 2.6 million ounces and climbing. It's key to have that at the central point of our land position because, I mean, when you look at multi-million ounce deposits sitting by themselves in the middle of Archean greenstone belts, they don't exist. There's always nice company, and thus the birth of a gold camp. And we believe we're at the beginning of that. A robust asset base for a discovery challenged industry. What does that mean? Well, I've been 35 years exploring in this industry for majors and juniors, and I've firsthand witnessed the sort of demise of our exploration side, right? And not just in dollars, but in people. Well, that all comes with a cost, as we all know, and it's the fact that you're not going to find as much new deposits, and we're seeing that statistically. If you look at the 90s, we're sort of our key era of new discoveries. We're not finding those discoveries anymore. So seeing this coming, this is what this was put together for, to produce a land package, show the potential for the key asset to grow, but also the surrounding assets to augment that key asset, and do it all for next to nothing. It costs us about $100,000 to hold our 900 square kilometer land package. We're well funded, as you can see. We're closing a bought deal tomorrow, so we'll be close to about 24 million bucks. We're undertaking a 35,000 meter plus program. It's going to look more like a 40,000 meter program. So we're very active with the drill on all parts of our deposit. Strong support, Northfield Capital, Kinross, and the Osisko Royalties. There are no royalties. This was before Osisko Royalties became Osisko Royalties. They took an interest back in 2012, Kinross in 2016. So we've got some good support and long-standing support for what we're trying to accomplish. That's our Indian Lake Gold Belt. As I said, 200 kilometers north of Yellowknife. We have a 5,000-foot airstrip on site. We land fixed-wing aircraft up to the size of a Hercules and did that a few times. You can see our land package is rather large, about 3 times the size of the Timmins camp, so 60 kilometers north-south by up to 25 east-west. Colmac sits in the north-central portion. Colmac's a differentiated mafic sill. That wasn't known until we determined that in 2012. Why is that important? Well, there is no other gold deposit in North America that's like Colmac. Differentiated mafic sills basically mean there's a chemical separation between the top of the sill and the bottom of the sill. That imparts a physical change between the top and bottom, meaning the top is more silica rich, the bottom more iron and magnesium, so the top of the sill fractures. Why is this key? And for us, because that wasn't understood when this was previously in production in the mid-90s. And they missed an opportunity to explore it properly. So where do you look for your analog? Well, there are none in North America, as I said, so you've got to look at Western Australia. The Golden Mile dolerite in the Kalgoorlie district is identical to Colmac. They're both differentiated mafic sills. They both host large tonnage, lower grade deposits. But the key for me was, in the early days of the Golden Mile dolerite, there was high grade that was developed. So no one's ever looked for high grade in the Colmac system, so we started. Just a quick slide to show some of the similarities. They're very similar. They sit in the same sort of stratigraphy, Archean, same style of mineralization, yada, yada, yada. Of course, they've produced a lot more gold than we have, but we're working on that. The evolution of Colmac, in 2012, we purchased it from the federal government of Canada. It was a reclamation project. So everyone, forgot about it, sat there for 12 years being reclaimed. During that time, we were staking up the entire land position with the end game of acquiring Colmac, and did that in 2012. We did a small drill program, put out a preliminary resource of 1.4 million ounces, and began to start looking at the high-grade potential. In 2014, drilled into high-grade at Colmac. That's 52 meters is 7.8 grams. 100 meters from the open pit, so about 5 times the grade of the open pit. 100 meters away, and they never even bothered to take that out. Well, that's because they didn't know it existed. If they did, they would have taken it out. So, our timeline really shows what I'm trying to tell you. In 2012 to say 2015, it was tight to find money, so you're not accelerating your discoveries. From that point onward, we've been able to get, good funding and been able to accelerate our programs, and our discoveries went up accordingly. Just last week, we put out our best intercept to date, well, ever up there, 56 meters of 13.5 grams. That's a 35-meter true width, and I'll show you the section of that. So Colmac is not just a large tonnage, low-grade deposit. It's that, plus it's got these high-grade corridors that we hope to push forward on. The discovery holes on the left there, C, that was drilled in 2014. Of course, you step out and you try to see, hey, is this a bona fide domain? Can we actually bracket this thing? Yes, we can. We drilled this subsequent in the following years. It now sits at 300 meters strike length, 30 to 50 meters true width from surface. Yes, it outcrops all the way down to 600 meters and open because there's no bottom to the sill. So just one of the first holes we drilled this year was a plunge test and a gap in the zone. So it's relatively shallow, and you can see the cut that we got, 56 meters at 13.5, 30 meters at 22 grams, and of course 10 meters of almost 2 ounces. And in the profile of the borehole, you can see it's very, very nuggety, right? So it's free gold. That's why we get 98% recovery in metallurgy, and there's no nasties in the rock. So it's very clean ore as well. So we're moving forward on all these fronts. The picture there at the bottom, that's what that 30-meter section looks like at 22 grams plus. It's very quartz flooded. Very strong fabric. You can see chlorite slips and so on and so forth, and a lot of visible gold. That became, okay, we got one domain, now we're exploring for others, because if you find one, there's obviously others, so we're stepping out, and this zone 3, which occurs about, say, 2 kilometers south of that other zone, 1.5, we're starting to see the same thing develop there. This has hardly been explored, never been drilled, even at those depths that we show you here, because remember, Colmac was an open pit, so no one explored it deep at all. They had no reason to. We're taking it down to 600, 700, 800 meters in these high-grade corridors. In long section, there's the potential. There's 2.6 million ounces outlined in that 7 kilometers section of the 9 kilometer sill. And you're looking at the orange hashed area. So if you look on the axis on the right, you can see 400 meters. So, when I initially got this database off the federal government, it was pretty simple. Do the same thing we're doing here. See, is there room? Is there real estate to build the ounces here? If you take it down to 400 meters, that's 2.6 million. I could see 5 million, possibly. Now, if we have these high-grade corridors, I can see more. And that's what we're pushing forward on as we speak. Surrounding Colmac, all our other deposits and showings, just to give you a quick look through, you can see there's no shortage of grade and width and opportunities to blow stuff out. Last year at Treasure Island, we drilled those holes, 18.5 meters of almost 7.5 grams. That's a new zone as well. So basically what our thesis was is we've got a gold camp with a former producer that was misunderstood as a potential to grow, and it's surrounded by all these other assets that have not been explored. So that's our opportunity going forward, and I'll leave you with this slide because I think I'm out of time. This is just our prospecting results from last year, from north to south, top to bottom in the belt. There's gold all over the place, and we're advancing on these this summer. Thanks.
Great, thank you.